Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Hogarth's Global Astrology. Know your planets, know yourself. Right? Actually, what's the time now? Oh, I see. I'm just a couple minutes late. What you couldn't see off screen was me absolutely stuffing down a curry. It's been a busy day today, so thank you to everyone who had a consultation with me today. You will know who you are, and so literally, let me just slurp a little bit more water to make sure nothing is in the teeth. Well, how is everyone? And oh my goodness, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys questions are. Actually, there weren't that many questions left in the. I mean, I've got a couple of questions to read out. Normally there's a few more, but of course this means this frees up the chat as well to ask questions and stuff like that. Well, we've got questions coming in already. So here we are. We've got Angela has asked, hi Hogarth, Krishna, please, can you ask the tarot if Melania is still living with Trump or is she back in New York? Oh, that's quite a juicy one. We can certainly look into that. Who else is, let's see who else is going. Here in the UK, I expect to see a change of government, but I feel that there will be another election or a year or two to make the final decision. We'll have to see. Either way, the dreadful Tories need to go. Yeah, they're rubbish. And a slight digression, folks, particularly for the American viewers. We've had this thing going on in the UK, which is called the COVID inquiry. And we're looking into how key decisions were made by key characters in government, including the Prime Minister, around COVID and stuff like that. And there's been some incredible stuff that has emerged. Now, I knew that there was a whole pile of BS and stuff like that going on anyway, and half of us did. But basically, a lot of it was like, let them die. Doesn't matter. What did Boris say? Oh, the old have had a good innings and they need to accept their fate. You know what I mean? Like, wow. Yeah. And I think Rishi Sunak, who was the chancellor at the time, has also been quoted as saying when he was, he's now PM, and I think he just said, let them die. Yeah. So anyway, it's all coming out. Do you remember how I said, because Pluto is transiting through sidereal Capricorn, that means what? The underbelly of what? Government, big business, big pharma, all those things. Yeah. Pluto reveals the underbelly, the seedy stuff that's going on. While everyone was in lockdown in the UK, guess what? They were partying. They were like, screw them. The peasants, yeah, they can go beg. I'm not surprised because, sadly, that's what the Tories are like. But, there are a few that lent them their vote and stuff like that. And look, that's not their fault. Everyone votes for their reasons. But it is now emerging. And we're seeing this, aren't we, as a theme throughout the world, this kind of moving to the right, but also as well, all of this stuff coming out, the underbelly. Yeah. So there will be more, of course. But Christmas is not far away, as you know. And I just want to give everyone else a break, including myself. Yeah. And I'm just like, when it comes to the dramas of 2024, do you know what? I'm like, you know what, guys, I'm going to just give you a little bit of a break. We will just see the rest of this year out. And then we can just take a nap, like I said, eat food and get fat over Christmas and just not worry about it all for a while. Then 2024, then we can get stuff back in with the nitty gritty. So before I proceed, please, I would like to remind everyone, please, if you wouldn't mind, liking and subscribing and sharing this content. We've got our own little thing going on here, haven't we? Which is really fun. And also as well, I want to say a thank you to everyone who's filled out the survey thus far for where they want to go to be with me on a retreat. Yeah, on a retreat. Honestly, there are fabulous choices there. And a lot of you have filled in the form. If you haven't yet, please fill in the form. Go into the video description, the description in this video, and in there you'll see a link to a form. You click it, and then you just basically click the country. You give some basic information, and then you will click the country or countries where you would like to be with me in a retreat. So far, the top 3 is looking very interesting. But let me see, at the moment, Rome combined with Florence. So we're talking food, you know, the Colosseum, adventures, traveling to Florence, then the Tuscan countryside, wine and food and song and all that stuff. That one is doing very well so far, but I'll let you check it out for yourself. So have a little look, and then soon in the future, I'm going to announce where you guys have picked. Yeah, going to leave it. Maybe I think it's we're going to leave it a week, and then I'm gonna announce probably like next week or something like that. It is so exciting, and I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's filled out the questionnaire so far. And if you haven't, please do. It's honestly, I'm just can't believe it. It's going to be fabulous. And you know what I'm looking forward to most of all? What I'm really looking forward to is bringing everyone together. And I just want to say a little thing here, a little digression here. Particularly like when it's like me and my clients and stuff, and each one of you are like a gemstone. And you all have your own special light and your own special beauty. And for me, it's like when I'm talking with someone, it's like this beautiful box, jewel box, but everyone is in their own little compartments, and they're all different, but there's this similarity, this intelligence, this wit, this curiosity about the world, the cosmos, politics, and stuff like that. And what I really look forward is to bringing you all together, like threaded on a beautiful necklace. And we're going to enjoy these adventures together, where we're going to talk about everything. Our lives, you know, the energies, how the planets work, karmas in our life, people's in our life, mother, father, brother, sister, career, children, everything, whatever it could be, but in an amazing context as well, and environment. And it's going to be wonderful. Many of you are going to make lifelong friends, because I know all of you as a collective, but you don't know each other yet. Oh, well, you do, like in the chat, but imagine meeting in person. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Click the form. Have a look, and then we'll all be together, yeah, next year. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. Anyway, so let's start with a question, and then give me some questions in the chat. All right. So this one has come in from. Oh wait, your first name's not there. God, it's just made my mind just go blank. But anyway, at Campbell, you know who you are. What do the cards say about the Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity? Have you ever done a chart on the Supreme Court, or is that impossible without one birth time? Yeah, so what I would say in terms of like with the Supreme Court, because I mean, you could do the birthday of when the Supreme Court was created. But if one can imagine, the Supreme Court, the composition of the Supreme Court, of course, has changed, hasn't it? You know, every few years, you know, someone changes. Mind you, it is lifetime appointments. But let's just pull some cards anyway and see what is going on. What do the cards say about the Supreme Court decision? We'll try and get some Shakespeare in as well. Let me know if you who you would like me to do how Shakespeare pronounce on, shall we say, yeah? But let's ask the Supreme Court, and then we'll have a bit more interaction with you all, because you're all piling in now. All right, Supreme Court. Let's bring. What do the cards say about the Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity? Teresa, that's your name. There you go. Let's have a look. See. Oh, that shouldn't even be in there. That's the thingy bob. Supreme Court. Oh, that's the other card that shouldn't be in there. Yes. Anyone who comes on the trip, you're going to find your tribe. Let's put it that way. Like-minded people to travel with, drink with, have fun with, adventures, and obviously a bit of astrology as well. It's going to be fabulous. Oh, I can't wait. All right, now, let's see what's going on here. Supreme Court. How interesting. All right. Let's have a look-see. All right. The question is, what do the cards say about the Supreme Court decision on presidential immunity? Right. So if we look here, who's in question? Yeah, this could also be Duc L'Orange. Yeah, this is the King of Wands, which is, remember, Wands as well do with passion, and they have a lot to do with business. This is what I found. Pentacles as well, but I found Wands in particular because they deal with initiating things, making moves. Yeah. So in a way, this is kind of speaking in both ways. This is also talking about the Supreme Court, their position of authority and power and influence over everyone. Remember as well, fire also deals with ideology and ideas. And of course, that has what? The kind of fire signs energy, Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius, with Sagittarius being the most political and the most religious, yeah, as well. And also the most fanatical. So in a way, I'm getting this is the Supreme Court sitting there, you know, wanting to preside, wanting to affect things. But this could also represent Duc L'Orange as well. If we look here in the obstacle position, the Lovers turn up. So this, and now, of course, this is a major arcana. And this means that the Lovers isn't just what it can speak about the relationship of the Supreme Court in regard to Duc L'Orange, Trump. But let's not forget as well, the Lovers is about important decisions, key decisions that have kind of karmic consequences. But this has turned up in the obstacle position. So it seems like they're kind of torn. Yeah, they're kind of torn. But look, what I would say to the Supreme Justices is this. In a dictatorship, you guys are the first to go. Yeah? The first to go. What do the dictators do? They take over the courts. So if the Supreme Court make the decision and they decide to support Duc L'Orange, guess what, dudes and dudettes? You're going to be out of a job. Yeah? The decision they make will be key, fateful. It will change the course of destiny of America. Of course it will. They grant him immunity. That means the president can do whatever they want in their job. And if they do grant immunity, then I would suggest that Joe Biden just do whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. Or he could decide not to leave. Do you know what I mean? It's like the profundity of what is going on in America right now is astonishing, and around the world, but it really is. Now, if we look here, look at the next card. Two of Cups. So we see this is very strongly talking about the Supreme Court's relationship with Trump, quite literally. Can see it there, can't we? So look, they're in cahoots. Do you remember before, was it, I can't remember, last Thursday, Friday, or was it Hogerly? Someone asked the question, if the courts, what their relationship are with the courts, are they corrupt or whatever? This says to me, yeah, there's a lot of dialogue going backwards and forwards. Judge Cannon would, of course, be part of this. But all of those kind of conservative judges that have kind of thrown their hat in with Duc L'Orange. There have been many as well that have held up the law as well. But look, if we're talking about the Supreme Court, so we know this is a direct relationship. They're really thinking about potentially supporting him, yeah? Which is not a good move. Not a good move. Next here, we see the Page of Wands. Pardon me, that's because I've just eaten that curry. Now, pages are all about what? Messages, yeah? Messages. Wands, again, are about passion and ideology. So look, the Supreme Court is soon going to deliver its message. I think they're going to do it. Is it next week? I think it's the middle of next week or whatever. But look, there's a message coming. Now, what is the message about? This is a bit of a conflicting one. Why is it conflicting? Because you know already, when I pull this card, I often associate with Russia. Yeah, with Russia. But this card can also deal with a creative woman, fertility, fecundity. She's often depicted as being pregnant. So this could also talk about what? Roe versus Wade. Remember, Trump has been boasting, I got rid of Roe versus Wade and stuff like that. But is this also the Supreme Court maybe having to take that into consideration? They might be thinking, if we give this guy immunity, you know, that's going to piss a lot of people off, especially the women. So in a way, it's kind of like, it's a really tricky one, because this can also be known as a yes card as well. So it's like, are they going to support Trump? Potentially, it could be yes. Why do I say that? It's because of the relationship, yeah? The relationship, the fateful decisions that have already been made, because he brought them, what? The Roe versus Wade, yeah? The issues around pregnancy. Do they feel a debt of loyalty to him? Or is it the case where they may put themselves and women first? Yeah, I am hoping it's the latter. I'm hoping the message is going to be something more supportive of women. Yeah. Forgive me. Sorry, I've literally just wolfed down a curry. There wasn't time. I was so busy today. And that, you know, when you're talking and when you've just eaten. So I hope they side with women, but could there be that influence there of Russia as well? I think it's a tricky one. I think it's, for me, I'm going to say it's 50-50. It's 50-50. Even if they're so fanatical, you know, such douchebaggery. But if they go with Trump, it will also end them. Do you see? Because they will lose all credibility. So I'm going to say it's 50-50. All right. Let's see who's here in the chat. Let's have a look here. So people saying hello. Hello, 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 Lilith. And let's see here. Oh, someone has said, Chris Cassidy has said, Angela Locke, there's nothing more British than a good curry. Yes. I lamb tandoori, actually. That's what I stuffed down. Getting love and light here from Dirt Farming. Oh, here we are. Steve Watts has asked, astrology question. Can Vedic and Western astrology be used together to get a more refined picture of an individual's personality, etc.? Really curious. Mickey. Good question. Good question. So let's do an astrology one, because, you know, it's a Thursday fry up after all. Right. Western tropical astrology, as you guys have heard me said, doesn't take precession of the equinoxes into account. Precession of the equinoxes is a proper bona fide scientific term to describe how the stars from our vantage point on Earth move backwards 1 degree every 71 years or so. And this is proper physics science. Just Google it. Precession of the equinoxes. Procession is forward. Precession is backwards. So over time, the stars have kept moving, and it means the Shakti. In Vedic astrology, we describe starlight as having Shakti. And as we know, light has information. That is really essentially what is programming the auric fields in our aura, which also influence our karmas and impregnate upon our soul. So when I print out a person's chart, for example, it's their soul contract. I'll just cover the name here. But what I do is, so, and I hand illustrate this stuff, by the way. Most of the time, when I print off the chart with the software, it just looks like this, yeah, plain. But I like to illustrate. I don't have to, but I'm one of those crazy astrologers that do, because I like to show the energy of the soul contract. The D1 will show where the planets were sidereally at the time someone was born. And that is that person's soul contract from the astronomically accurate positions. However, with Western astrology and Vedic astrology, the distance between the planets is the same. The orbits are the same. Yeah. So how far or close other planets are to each other is still the same. However, the signs will be different. The houses may be the same, but the signs will be different. And the signs express the signs tell how the planet is expressing itself, the dignity of the planet, how comfortable it is. So does the house sign as well. Too long to explain, but so of course, if a Western astrologer is good, they can look at the aspects. So they look at what the the squares, the trines, the in conjunctions, etc., or the progressions. Yeah, you would have heard of this stuff before. And we can still use that in Vedic astrology as well, but we look very much at the sign, the house, the yogas that are created, you know, when planets and stuff like that are together. And Western astrology, of course, you know, still works. You know, if they're a talented Western astrologer, of course, it will still work, because they can look at the distances and stuff, and opposition is still an opposition. But what I would say, and obviously I'm a neo-Vedic astrologer, I include the outer planets as well. Vedic astrology is so accurate. Just ask my clients. This is what I would say. Just go on my Facebook and have a look. Just ask my clients. Yeah. So with Vedic astrology, I'm able to predict accurate events when they're going to happen in a person's life. And I can say to them, sell your house before this time, because the sale will come through on the eclipse of whatever. Just ask Julie. She'll tell you. Or when you were in this dasher time sequence, this is when this and this happened, or this and that's most likely to happen. Sometimes I can predict it to the day. Yeah. So Western astrology still works, and it can still describe a person, but when you move everything back to that alignment, to the Shakti, that is when you get the big things. But a good astrologer is a good astrologer regardless of what system that they use, and they can still arrive at same or similar conclusions. So, you know, I don't want it to be like a put down to Western tropical astrology, because it isn't. But it's just, I do a lot of Vedic. I learned both systems. Remember, I've been learning astrology since I was 8 years old. So I've learned the Western pretty much back to front. So I can compare the two. And the Vedic is just like, wow, supernatural stuff. But take it from my clients, not me. Yeah. Anyway. So I hope that answered your question. Let's have a look now at a question that's coming from Nicola. Thanks so much, Nicola, for your question. So she says, hola. So Saudi seems to be in the Middle East, in the middle of things in the Middle East. But is everything that's happening a result of what Kushner got 2 billion for? Oh, that's a juicy one, isn't it? Great question. Honestly feels that any information provided has been done to undermine stability and cause as much chaos and damage as possible. I think that's a pretty fair conclusion. But let's see. Let's see what the cards have to say. So let's see. Is everything that's happening a result of what Kushner got 2 billion for? Good question. 2 billion. Let's have a look. Kushner. So everything. I mean, I think, look, he was paid for a reason, wasn't he? That's my instinct. I don't want to prejudge it, but he was paid for a reason. You don't just cough up 2 billion for nothing, isn't it? I mean, he wasn't being paid for one of his dilapidated slumlord places, was he? So, Kushner. So everything that's happening now connected. Is it all connected? Let's have a look, see. Well, look at this. Here we go. Here we go. All right. Oh, wow. There's 372 of you right now. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. I really appreciate it. I love having these little Thursday fry-ups of us together and, you know, asking, you know, the astrology on all the different bits and bobs, as well, of course, Hogely as well. But that's got a different energy as well. So if we look here, does Kushner's everything, that 2 billion, have something to do with it? Yeah. Yes. I would say, look, the loss. Look at the misery, the losses and all the stuff, everything that's happening in the Middle East right now. But we see there are 2 cups left standing up. So I'm going to say yes. This is a cause, not of all the misery in the world, yeah, because look, this is like 3 cups are down, but 2 are standing up. Not all of it, but what this says to me, this is a significant contribution to some of the instability that's going on now. And this really was to undermine America, essentially, yeah? You're going to have to pay quite a big bribe, but everyone has their price. Now, what's the giveaway, yeah? What's in the obstacle position for the United States, shall we say, or the world? Ding, 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 ding. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles. And we know now what do pentacles do with? They deal with money, but they also deal with values. But this is turning up in the obstacle position, so we can consider this reversed. When the Knight of Pentacles is in his virtue, he is known as the loyal knight. Yeah, the loyal knight that will be steadfast and true. Yeah, he's not the fastest one, but he'll get there in the end, and he'll come through for you in the end. However, when the card is reversed, he can be known as the mercenary. The mercenary, the employed soldier. He doesn't really have any loyalty to anyone. He just wants to get paid. Yeah, we've seen that in Syria, and we've seen that, of course, in Ukraine as well. As you see, where, you know, Russia's dredging up, you know, Putinshka is dredging up, you know, bloody every criminal, consumptive, you know, with pneumonia, and even cannibals. Yeah, he even pardoned 2 cannibals recently, you know, for their fighting on the front line. Probably tried to eat people as well along the way. Even it's just astonishing. But anyway, so this is what the paid for mercenary. The mercenary is what? Someone you employ to do damage or harm. So already, yes. If we look, who is this benefiting? Yeah. Could this be benefiting a certain what? Leaders, yeah, patriarchy. This is the emperor. So of course the emperor deals with patriarchal leadership, organization. You know, the positive sides of it is organization, sense of duty and responsibility, purpose, focus. But this can also be what? The grand patriarch, yeah, these older men, these male leaders, yeah. Maybe this is some of America's enemies, because look, do you see he's in his war garb? Do you see here is Aries? Aries is what? Mars, the sign of war. He's wearing red. So yes, it seems Kushner has betrayed, yeah, his nation for money, because really he's a mercenary for these powerful men that wish to exploit or harm America. Who else is in there? GOP. Yeah, do you remember? Look how many times we'll get this cut when we do the political. Look, 10 of Pentacles. Yeah. So this is the legacy. This is the one with the generations of the family all together. So essentially, the way I'm reading that is Kushner, well, for entertainment purposes only, sold out his own country to preserve his sense of legacy. Yeah. That's how I'm seeing that. But this will also talk about the GOP, who have also been bought out as well, as we know. Yeah, because this is the institutions, quite literally. And since that big money transfer, we've hardly seen him, haven't we? Hardly hear anything from Jared Kushner, which is obviously quite an intelligent thing. I'm not saying that he's a genius, but sometimes if you've done some really dodgy stuff, sometimes the best thing to do is shut up. Yeah. You could teach that to Duck Larange. But look, we see here introspection, research, withdrawing from the world. This is also as well having the effect. The effect of it is to isolate America and essentially undermine it. So it's about, it's so really like, in my opinion, you know, the likes of Jared and certain people in the GOP really should be kind of tried for treason. I know that seems a bit hardcore, but that's what we're actually talking about now. That's what it is. That's what selling out your own country does, doesn't it? I know it might sound extreme, but what else can we call it? He took 2 billion. And there's all this stuff, you know, obviously they're looking at, you know, Hunter Biden, blah, blah, blah. And it's like Jared Kushner, who was working in the government at the time with Trump's daughter, Ivanka, took $2 billion in payment from the Saudis. And this is not global news. Like, come on, like, wow. So you see, it's in fact, let's see what Shakespeare has to say about Jared Kushner. Let's have a little look. Let's see what the bard has to say about Jared. Yeah. What's the bard have to say about Jared? All right, I'm going to read you the first page here. This one, then I'll read you the other one. It says, "Splud, you starveling, you elfskin, you dried neat's tongue, you bull's pizzle, you stockfish. Oh, for breath to utter, what is like thee? You tailor's yard, you sheath, you bow case, you vile standing tuck." I mean, that's pretty hardcore. And then that's come from Henry IV, part 1. And the other one is, this is harsh. This is from Troilus and Cressida. "Go hang yourself, you naughty mocking uncle." Wow. Troilus and Cressida. So obviously the bard has reserved some of his most severe scorn for Jared. Yeah. I mean, but when you think about it, in reality, he's not there in front of the cameras, is he? He's not there in front of the cameras, but what he's done, or what the card's suggesting that he's done, which I think is obvious to all, is one of the biggest acts of betrayal anyone can do. So I'm not surprised that the bard was so vicious there. Anyway, let's see what's going on. So yeah, Angela's like, yeah, disgusting bloody government. Yeah. Chris Cassidy is saying, let them eat gâteau. Yeah, that's the government there. Let's scroll down a bit more. Someone saying, good advice, eat food and get fat. 2 things I can do with no effort. Says the red hot cat. Yeah, because look at this year. Think of this year. What drama we've all been through. It's just been like one giant roller coaster, one after the other. And it's like, look, we know more drama is coming, but we need to kind of take a little break, don't we, at Christmas? I'm certainly going to make sure I eat as much food as I can. Let's see. Dubara is saying, greetings, Hogarth, and chat caught you live. Thank you. Thanks for joining me live. Let's scroll down a bit further, because obviously the chit chat, as you know, the chat is a life unto its own. Let's see. Oh, here we are. So Cheryl Simpson says, pregnancy could be the birth of new ideas. That's true as well. That's true. Let's hope the Supreme Court gets new ideas. Look, if they follow Duck Larange over the cliff, it is over. They're going to have no credibility at all. So here, Melody asks, as a propis, the GOP 20, do you see countries somehow stumbling upon common sense to ditch their greed for transparency and act cooperatively to address climate change? So I think you mean COP20. But I mean, I think it's, what is it, COP24 now, whatever, but I know what you mean. Let's have a look. Will they stumble on common sense to save the planet? I mean, one of the problems that we have, though, is that in leadership, we have so many psychopaths. I mean, really, sociopaths, psychopaths, and they don't give a shit. They just care about, as long as they get their profit, their money. I hope if they think of their children and their grandchildren, they might reconsider. But greed and power is a drug, a very powerful and intoxicating drug. And these people are very, very greedy. But let's see what the cards have to say. I don't want to prejudge. Oh, how interesting. That's all right. I'm going to have to take that one. Yeah. Just, it slid off to the side. Let's have a look. 400 of you here. Let's have a look. All right. These climate conferences. Will the world come together and its leaders to save the planet? Let's have a look. Will common sense arrive? Let's have a look. All right. Here we go. This was the card that twisted off to the side, and I was like, well, I have to take this one. So look, we got the death card. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean we're all going to die? Well, we all have to die eventually, but hopefully, you know, the planet won't perish. Yeah. So what this is saying to me is the old ideas, the old ways of doing things have to die. They have to perish. This is also why these people are holding on, because they want to keep their old ways. They want to still be what? The king, yeah, who's getting trampled underfoot. What this says to me is, I think events are going to happen. A chain of events are going to happen here on Earth, particularly now that Neptune is in the sign of sidereal Pisces. Neptune is god of the sea. Pisces is the ocean, yeah? So, of course, there's going to be lots of things to do with the ocean, even like storms and stuff, because it all relies on what? Vapor, yeah? Water vapor, all of this kind of stuff. Floodings and, you know, hurricanes. So I think we're getting there, and there's a bit of progress, but the transformation really has to kind of speed up. At some point, it's just going to be, we have to do something. In the obstacle position, we get another major arcana. We get the sun. And isn't this interesting? Because this question is about what? Global warming, and the sun has turned up in the obstacle position. It's too hot. Yeah, it's too hot, too much heat, too much sun. Also, as well, people aren't joining the dots. People, because we can look at it being maybe reversed, and even reversed, it's still quite a positive card. But this is people having to what? Wake up. Not enough people are waking up. Because they're going, oh, well, it's a natural cycle. And it's like, look, how many times does your house have to burn down? How many times do you have to have a hurricane or tornado rip through and destroy everything? How many times do people need to be flooded? And, you know, most people get it, but there's still a lot who are just like, meh, yeah. So it's a mixed bag. So here is, but literally is too much heat. Last year we had, well, this year we had our hottest year on record. When in El Nino year, it's going to be even hotter next year. Like, wow. However, look, there is a little bit of hope here. There is a sense of cordiality. Yeah. This can be like wish fulfillment, happiness, love, and it's falling right in the middle. So look, there's some hope. There's some hope. Maybe the world can come together. Yeah, can come together. I think more people are waking up slowly but surely. And of course, this is a yes card as well. You know, here we have, as you know, I refer to this card as stinky fish. It can mean an unpleasant message, yeah? But really, this is about messages. But I think this is more about unpleasant messages about what? Climate change, the environment. Again, this deals with water. Things are happening with the sea, the oceans. Did you guys see that there is this glacier that has broken off, which is the largest glacier ever to be floating? And I mean, this thing is absolutely massive. It's gigantic. Anyway, so look, there's more messages there. But when we look, cups again, but the 7 of cups. So we have a lot of choices need to be made. Multiple choices need to be made, but the delusion has to end as well. There's a lot of people who are still delusional. A lot of these leaders are still delusional about how much time there is left, because they're like, well, this science tells me we still have 30 years. And they're probably thinking, well, I'll be dead by then. But actually, it's not like that at all. We have much less. This is all happening much quicker than we think. So many important choices need to be made, but the delusion needs to be avoided. So I think there is a chance more common sense will come. But you know what? I think certain people, shall we say, need to exit stage left and basically no longer be on Earth. You get what I mean? Yeah. Some people need to shuffle off and just let us get on with it. Anyway, let's see who else is in the chat. Oh, look. Tom Hartman said the same thing today, that there is a chance, that there is a possibility of them ruling in his favor, Trump's favor. Yeah, look, as you know, I know no one wants to particularly hear this sort of thing, but as you know, I just read the cards and I just read the astrology. I have to be like a crystal. I say to all my clients, I'm like a crystal. I just have to be a vessel for the message. My personal ego or whatever is not in it at all. I push that to the side because it's got nothing to do with it when it comes to reading on these things. And that's why I said they have a strong relationship with Duc L'Orange. He's given them a lot of what they want. They're also worried about the backlash of all the other back deals that they've done. It's pretty corrupt. You don't need to be a psychic to know that one. So we'll have to see. But I wish I could give it a categorical no, they're not going to do it. That's not what the cards are looking at. It's looking much more like it's 50-50. SCOTUS has not given a time when they will announce a decision to accept/reject the case. But during Nixon, they ruled in 8 weeks on speedy petition. I heard somewhere that they were going to announce soon. Oh my goodness, they could drag it out. Marsha's saying they are so crazy, beyond crazy. Yeah, it's just bonkers. The Supreme Court is also supposed to decide on I don't know what that means. It's obviously some kind of chemical or something, or maybe it's a medicine. I don't know. All right. And then, oh yeah, Ruth is saying Nikki Haley is the dark horse. Do you remember that prediction? I only watched one of the debates because it was just, the whole thing was just a total, you know what. And you remember I did the readings and I said, watch out for Nikki Haley. I said, she's the dark horse and she got the best cards out of the lot. And so it said, Nikki Haley is the dark horse, as you predicted. Will the GOP nominate her for the 2024 presidential election? Let's have a look. Ruth, thanks for your question. Because what I'm worried about, this is what I think, this is how I think it will play out. Crispy Duc L'Orange is going to get increasingly into more and more legal jeopardy. Yeah. And you remember I said, like, once he went into his Jupiter K2, I said things will start getting worse for him, and they have significantly. He may last long enough to potentially become the nominee, and then he might have to drop out, because he gets locked up or whatever, and then maybe Nikki Haley is the replacement, or it just reaches the point where she might just squeeze him out of it. We have to see. Remember, she's getting a lot of the funding now. What I'm worried about is if Nikki Haley gets in, the chances of a conservative getting in go up. And that is not good. Because what she's going to do, she's probably going to pardon the you-know-what. Yeah? And bring in all that crazy mad gobshite that they want to do anyway. But let's let the cards speak. Nikki Haley, dark horse. Will the GOP nominate her for the 2024 presidential election? Let's have a look. Click off that. There we go. Let's see, what does Spirit have to say? Nikki Haley. Will Nikki Haley become the nominee? She gets aces and stuff like that. Yeah, it could be. Mediocre cards, then 50-50. And if they're rubbish, then obviously we know. Let's. Oh, look at that. That's two that's fallen out, but I wouldn't have pulled them because they came out from the friction. All right. Oh. Interesting. All right. Oh, there's 420 of you now. Nikki Haley. Will the GOP choose her? Remember, that was the question. The Lovers is back. Now, remember, the Lovers is all about what? Choices. Yeah, choices, but also about relationships. The GOP really have to decide, and the electorate have to decide on how they feel about Nikki Haley really being the one. Yeah, because obviously Duck Larange is such this big, you know, and the media really do. I know I've said it before. The media really do need to take some collective responsibility of basically keeping Trump constantly in the news for like the past 8 years. I'm sorry, they do. Constantly amplifying every single word he says is free advertising. Yeah, at least make him pay for it. Bloody hell. But choices, yeah. So they're probably actually looking at Nikki Haley quite seriously, actually, and they're really considering her. Yeah, considering her. If we look in the obstacle position now, look, this is the what? The sneaky card, yeah. This is the stealing away. This can also be the Russia card as well. Could this be that maybe Russia or certain people in the GOP may try and sneak away from Duck Larange? Yeah, because this isn't about being obvious about your tactics. It's about weakening the camp. Yeah. So it's kind of, there could be a lot more support for Nikki Haley behind the scenes. They just don't want to say it publicly because obviously they fear being harassed. Yeah. If we look here now, isn't this interesting? We have a queen in the middle. This can literally represent Nikki Haley. So remember, the pentacles are all about values, yeah, values. This is also talking about stability, looking after the coin. You see, the queen is looking after the coin. So what is Nikki Haley, as we know, is getting more funding, isn't she? She's getting more funding. She's holding that money and she's like, let me keep this safe. I might need this for later. Yeah, they might see her as well as what? A safe pair of hands. Yeah, female, safe pair of hands, who might calm down all of the stealing and the douchebaggery. Yeah, because everyone is seeing the GOP acting like this. Here, Nikki Haley doesn't have so much of that baggage. However, look, Duck Larange is still a significant factor. He has a lot of influence. And I think the outcome, if we look here with the 7 of Wands, if it's looking increasingly like Nikki Haley is going to do well, then what is he going to do? Duck Larange is going to attack and she's going to have to defend her position. So I would say her chances are increasing. She's literally getting the money. Key decision makers are potentially choosing her, but they're doing it behind the scenes in a sneaky kind of way, almost trying not to get Duck Larange's attention, which they will. And then he's going to attack. So this is him defending his position, but it's also Nikki Haley maybe having to defend her position against an attack from Duck Larange and Marga or whatnot. So I hope that answers your question. Yeah. All right, let's have a scroll down and see who else is able here. Will the state of Georgia abide by the redrawing of the voter maps dictated by the Supreme Court? That's a good one. Let's click on that. Put that as a star. So what's Cheryl Simpson? The point is, too far right or too far left isn't good. What we want is the middle of the road and to agree on some things. The world has experienced that. Not in recent times, though. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Oh, CC Riders saying, and Democrats should impeach Scottish justices that rule in favor of Trump, demonstrating their lack of fitness to serve on the highest court. Dems need majority in Congress. Yeah, absolutely. It's basically, if the justices vote to support Trump, they need to go. Yeah, they need to be flung out. They need to be flung out. But let's have a look here. Let's see. Will the state of Georgia abide by... Oh, also as well, look here. Angela, you asked me earlier. Can you ask if Melania is still living with Trump, or did she go back to New York? That's a juicy one. Get a little bit of gossip there. Melania. Oh man, she's realizing that she's married a pumpkin now, hasn't she? She could stay for the money before. Look, I don't think either of them expected, you know, you could see the shock on Trump's face once he actually became president. Melania had no intention of being like a bona fide first lady. And in many ways, it messed up her life. She was just quietly rich, do you know what I mean? You know, then thrust on the spotlight, and she's plagiarized Michelle Obama's speech. But she's not a major player in the machinations, criminality. I think she just focuses on her and her son. But let's see. Is she living with Duck L'Orange? My instinct is that they're all but separated in all but name. But anyway, let's see what the cards have to say. Melania. She's still with Duck L'Orange. See what Spirit says. Oh, well, I think this is pretty clear. Yeah, this is pretty clear. This was the beginning. This was the early days of Melania and Duck L'Orange. Yeah. Here he was the charming knight, yeah, the false knight coming forward. Oh, I'm going to promising this, promising that, riches, wealth, you name it, all of that kind of stuff. But this can also be the false knight, yeah. So in a way, she was seduced by what was put on offer and the money, yeah. In the obstacle position, we have the smug merchant. So what this is talking about, when this card is the right way up, it talks about wish fulfillment, getting everything that you desire, yeah. But it's turned up in the obstacle position, so we can read it a bit like that. I think initially, once she bagged herself Trump, she was like, I'm the smug merchant. I've got everything that I want. But really, we know it's gone. Really, the energy is like that. This is dissatisfaction with the outcome. It's like your business dealings hit the skids, yeah? Because really, this was a business contract between the two of them, probably set up by a certain, what's his name, who did all the parties and allegedly hung himself, you know, that one, Epstein, yeah, for entertainment purposes only. So look, for her, the deal has soured because the giveaway is, look at the next card, 5 of Swords, yeah, so it's dealing with an abuse of power. She's seen Duck L'Orange abuse his power. It was always a case, but now it's on that kind of global level. And it's reached the point where she's just like, you know what? I think I've had enough of this. You know, she knows that what? Justice is coming. So Melania, listen, if you want some more money, love, get it while he still has some, because once the courts are finished with him, they could rinse him out. And, you know, so look, we know she's had some Louis Vuittons packed for years. You know, she's got to dust them off. But look, she knows, look, justice is coming. There's going to, you know, the big legal battles that Duck L'Orange is in. And look at the outcome card. 5 of Pentacles, feeling out in the cold. This also can deal with poverty, ill health. It can also mean losing everything. So Trump may lose everything. He might still be able to run from prison or, you know, whatever. Because you know what's going to happen. If they give him house arrest, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen. If they give that douchebag house arrest, you know what the media is going to do? Every day, He's going to stand there on the grass and they're going to get one of these long boom things. They're going to put a microphone on it, dangle it over, and he's going to make his proclamations from bloody Mar-a-Lago. That's how addicted the media are to him. But in terms of the marriage, the relationships, taking this back to Melania, for her, it's done. It's over. It's over. She might have material success and money, but she is not happy. And that marriage is now worthless to her. So wherever she is, that says to me the marriage is over. She's just waiting. She's just waiting until it reaches a point and she'll maybe get her divorce settlement or something like that. All right, let's see if I can squeeze in one more question. Oh, here we are. Sherry's saying, time to lock up and go home. We'll watch the rest. Oh, right. Okay, you need to. Oh, right. Of course, you might be watching from work. Bless. Remember, we're doing our collab soon. Sherry and I, is it this Monday? 1 minute, Sherry. Let me just check. I think it's this Monday coming. Literally, I'm getting on my phone here. Let me look at my calendar. Let's have a look. See here. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Yes. So Monday, 10 p.m. UK time. That's there in my diary. Tarot, Voices from the Swamp. So we're collaborating. So yeah, watch me later. You do your thing that you need to do, Shari, and I really look forward to that. So next Monday, everyone, Shari and I, we're going to do a collab, and I'm going to be on her channel. All right, let's see here. Let's see if I can squeeze one more in. So someone's saying in London, if they have self-cleaning bathrooms, so whatever floats your boat is what's in them. So I've no idea behind this, but federal government bathrooms. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Let's see here. Someone's saying, I love Mr. Hoagie. Oh, thanks so much. Let's scroll down a little bit further. 2 billion. Oh, yeah, look. Katie Van Steenhoven, and 2 billion is what's reported. Can you imagine the real amount? Very good point. Very good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. And let's see, Trust the Bard. Trust the Bard, is Kushner warming up the plane to flee? Well, I mean, he can pretty much, when you got that much, the interest alone, isn't it? It's going to buy you a little palazzo somewhere. And Patricia saying the Bard is spot on. I mean, he was scathing. That's one of the worst I've heard him like describe. Let's see here. I always said Jack Smith is going to get Jared for war crimes. That's why the guy called him to specialize in war crimes. Yeah, could be. And Nikki's saying, is the dark horse, as you predicted, would... Oh, right. Okay, we looked at that. So she repeated the question. Let's see. Does anyone... Oh, right. So someone's asking, does anyone know the exact name of the author of the Bard? If you look in my video description under the survey, you'll see a link where you can buy that book. Look at this. So Canada doesn't feel right. Spirit of Christmas missing. People not eating. Scurvy back in the population. Wow. Scary to homeless dead out in the cold of Toronto. Wow. My goodness. That's a bit disturbing, isn't it? Let's see here. What does one... Oh, and someone's saying that. So thank you. One last question. Let's squeeze one in. What question do you have for me? Wow. Someone's saying in Australia there was the first ever recorded cyclone, El Nino. Let's see if there's a question I heard. What's this? Next Wednesday. Oh, I don't seem to have one. Can't stand Nikki Haley. Yeah. Someone's saying, well, do you know what? Let me just think. Doesn't Baron go to school? So let's see if there's a question here. Great readings. Does Trump still have documents? Oh, here we are. Does Trump still have documents he can wheel and deal with? Within this, right, the Saudis. Let's have a look. Let's quickly pull on that one. Does Duck L'Orange still have documents? Let's see what the cards say. I'm sure he's stuffed his pillows with them. Do you know what I mean? It's just so outrageous. The fact that this guy is still walking free is just an absolute joke, isn't it? Really does make a mockery of things. Let's have a look. Oops. Let's click off. Does Trump still have documents? So don't forget, guys, to take the survey. I'm so looking forward to bringing you, so many of you, together. You're going to make lifelong friends. I guarantee you. All amazing, really, really interesting, bright, articulate, and interesting people. Very intelligent. So you really will meet like-minded people. Really, kindred spirits. Oh. All right. We see the card of walking away. Does he still have more documents? I'm not sure. I think they might have cleaned out the coffers by now. I think, remember, Mar-a-Lago was an Aladdin's cave. And Aladdin's caves of documents. So this is saying that, yeah, maybe they've got the majority. They might still have one or two, but not, I wouldn't say significant amounts. Why? Because here's Biden, or the Biden administration, in the obstacle position, yeah? So he's being held accountable, yeah, for the things that he's stolen. Not locked up yet, but being held accountable. Nonetheless, he's going to keep charging forward in his usual way with his aggression, yeah, with his passion, all that kind of stuff, trying to defend the indefensible, yeah. This is Duck Larange, also as well trying to weaponize everyone, yeah, the rusted on. Duck Larange is prospecting about the world. As you know, I've been saying ad nauseum for ages. I really do believe that when the you-know-what really hits the fan, he may flee. He's still looking at the world, looking at his business prospects, making decisions, making plans. But he is torn about it. He's not sure whether to stay or go. This is the thing. When you're a pathological, malignant narcissist, the attention is very addictive. That's why I say, if the media just stopped talking about Trump, but he would be done in 2 weeks. I tell you, he wouldn't be able to handle it. So he contemplates fleeing, but then he's not going to get the adulation. He's not going to get the brouhaha, the showbiz. So, does he still have documents? I wouldn't say in significant amounts. I think that ship has sailed already, and those things have already been sold. I think this is more about, does he stay or does he leave the country? So I will leave it there, folks. I've just gone over. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me this evening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Thank you for the questions. Thank you, everyone, for joining me as well. And if you see me afterwards as well, thank you for watching too. Also, as well, if you'd like to travel with me to a retreat next year, so far Rome is looking pretty good, but there's also Costa Rica. There's also other places as well. It would be wonderful to bring you all together, and I so look forward to being your host. And I can guarantee you will make new friends for life, because you're all gems. And just the idea of all of you together and us having fun and learning about astrology as well is like, but if you don't want to do the astrology, you don't have to, but trust me, you're going to find it very juicy. And I'm going to print off all your charts and we'll compare and have a look, by the end of the week. And it will be adventure and just wonderfulness. So anyway, so that survey, click that link, and then probably next week, that's when I'll be announcing the location that you guys have chosen. And for everyone else, don't worry, if you can't afford a trip or whatever, you just being here is wonderful, and clicking and liking and sharing. And as you guys know, I will be having my book out next year as well quite soon, so you can have the book and all of that stuff. So I will leave it there for now. Thank you, everyone, for joining me again, and I'll see you all on Saturday for the next Hogeli. Big love, everyone. Mwah! And I will see you soon. All right. Bye-bye for now. Cheers.